So today I'll be talking about do rather than donate. So how many of you guys have a piggy bank at home? Nice, do you guys use it? Yes? No? Well, I don't use mine. Well, I used to use mine as a kid. Started collecting coins and I became like a fan of it, and I used to just put it in there and it became a hobby. As I grew up, it just kind of deteriorated and I was like, oh, I lost my interest in my piggy bank. I kind of related that to donating, because a lot of people tend to donate, or they have a payment plan and they just get into it by a persuasive speech. Like someone tells them, oh, like get into this, you're helping this and that, and then after that they don't even talk to the organization anymore, they just know they're contributing to it. So first I'll be talking about the pros and cons of donating and doing, and then I'll explain why doing is better than donating, and I'll just say that through the story, and then after, the ways you can do in your environment. So some pros of donating are funding for research projects, so finding a cure for cancer, finding a cure for HIV, or funding for treatments such as chemo and other stuff. And some cons are, it's just a phase. Some people just contribute but don't really, they're just being more generous than actually getting personally in touch with the organization. And also possible fraud. According to Christina Organ, Institute for Sociology and Social Psychology, in her article, When and Why Helping Others is Good for the Well-Being, helping behavior was more strongly related to life satisfaction. So helping through funding for researches like that is good, but then you just have to watch for possible frauds. So everything has its pros and cons. And also doing. So doing, the con to that is time consuming. So you have to set a plan for it. Like if you want to go feed the homeless on Thanksgiving, you have to set a plan to make the meal preps, and then after that to actually drive down there and then make it back, back in time to eat dinner at home. Another con is effort and planning. So again, bringing everyone together. And then the pro in this is witnessing helping a hand. So like as you see, this guy is giving him a handshake, which doesn't necessarily mean like he's helping him. But I like this picture because it doesn't portray a sad like photo. It shouldn't really be about sadness. It should just be about being generous, but also being an activist in it. And also, you could write solo or with the group. So you could easily, you have like a spare apple, you could give a homeless an apple. That could be by yourself, or you could set up something with a group. Like me and my boyfriend, twice a month, we made an agreement to make a meal plan, like for homeless, at least 3, and we'll go send it out, like in Hollywood. So now that I talked about the pros and cons of doing rather than donating, and donating rather than doing, I'll talk about my experience at Sonora, Mexico. So Sonora, Mexico is a really big poverty place. I went here with my church. We got into this because we met a sister that knew someone that lived there, and she would visit often. And my first time going, we just kind of went to their church. Their church was kind of built like this. So my pastor kind of felt heartwarming and like, wow, like we should make a difference. So according to Jane Lee, which journalist of the American Dietetic Association, in the year of 1998, wrote, people are likely to be less satisfied with their diets, access to food, and cooking food storage facilities. So as you see here, the facility where they store their food, they don't have a refrigerator, so their meat will rot quickly. So when we go there, we plan to do like meal preps, kind of like what you do to the homeless. You set like a toothbrush aside and this and that, but it's kind of different here.
we have to meal prep for a family. So for a family of 5 or 6, so we make sure we have a big bag of rice and a big bag of beans, and sometimes it's sad because at the end, there'll still be like a good 50 people left asking for food. But like I'm saying, it's better to come and get involved in these things than to rather just donate, because you're not really getting personally in touch with things like this, because you don't really see it until you witness it. Okay, so now that I talked about my experience in Sonora, Mexico, I'll talk about the ways we can help at home or anywhere. So care packages, like I've been mentioning throughout my whole speech, it's quick and efficient. Some ways that you could do it is not necessarily like this. I've seen many people use sleeping bags, spare pillows, so then people just feel at home with their stuff. Also blogging. If you don't like to get in touch with anybody. Blogging is a really good way of helping people. When my aunt got diagnosed with lung cancer, we had to get healthy in the house. So that means we had to clean the house everywhere. And I started like looking and searching like on Google, because Google has all the answers, how to like clean the house really good and make sure that, doesn't affect her health as much as her health is already affected. And you'll see a lot of blogs about how to eat healthy, or spirulina is a really good element. So that's a good thing. So at first I talked about how the pros and cons of donating rather than doing, and doing rather than donating. And then I talked about how doing is more efficient than donating and ways we can do it. So according to Alexander Zavis, journalist at the Los Angeles Times in December 26, wrote that many organizations welcome donations of gentle use clothing and blankets and toileters and food. So there are baskets like on the streets where you could drop off like your spare clothes now, which is becoming more efficient. So now you don't really have to just give money. You can give your spare clothes, your spare shoes, and it really will benefit people. And to close it off, I'll say this quote by Mother Teresa, actual Mother Teresa. Okay. Love is not patronizing, and charity isn't about pity. It is about love. Charity and love are the same. With charity, you give love. So don't just give money, but reach out your hand instead. Thank you.